hot or not? That's a question that I think a lot of people ask about many new cars, Paul, and today we're going to find that out with this. The brand spanking new Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We obviously know about the Hellcat. Its reputation almost precedes it, you know, with that huge 707 horsepower supercharged V8 under the hood.
Yeah, it is the most powerful American car you can buy. Aventador has less horsepower, and it costs substantially more because that car is about 70 grand. But the question, of course, is what will happen when we get it on the track? Now, Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a professional racing driver, have been since 1989, and kind of worked my way up from formula cars to sports cars to prototypes, and now doing a lot of endurance type racing.
So, Paul, we've had two cars on the track, the Jaguar F-Type R and the M2, and you set the track record in the M2.
Yeah, it was really an impressive car, and so far, both our cars we've had have been hot.
So do you think this will be faster than either of those two?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Obviously, if we were to go by horsepower, it should be like way faster, but we know to go around a racetrack quickly, it's a lot more than just horsepower.
So before we finish today, I'm going to spend a week behind the wheel. You're going to take it around the track. We're going to get a 0 to 60 time, and we're going to find out if it's, well, hot or, which one?
Oh.
All right, not. All right, let's give it to Paul. Let's go on the track. So, you know what's under there? It's a Hellcat Hemi, that's right. 707 horsepower, 650 pound-foot of torque, all mated to, in this case, an 8-speed automatic that feeds power to the rear wheels.
Traction at all, just lights the tires with no provocation. Steering is super light, like way too light, and it's in its track mode. And it's shifting by itself whenever it wants, even though it's supposed to be in the mode where it doesn't do that. And all I'm doing is just balancing ridiculous oversteer everywhere. I think if I get a little heat in the tires, it might get a little bit better. I'm trying not to do an impression of my drifting video. I'm trying to keep it tidy and fast. But it's gonna be hard with this car. It doesn't like being tidy.
Coming around that last corner?
Yeah.
You left like a 300-foot
I see
burnout.
him. This is like, come on. Well, even leaving the line, I gave it so little gas right there.
Yeah.
And it spun the tires all the way till I let it. I mean, I just was like I was trying to roll away from an intersection, not like I was trying to do a lap. It was like, no.
All right, my man, so how did that feel?
We're gonna have to talk about my hazardous duty compensation because wow, they got the name right.
Yeah,
that's what they got right on this car. It's got great performance and power, and just way more than the chassis can handle. And that's really interesting on a rear-wheel drive car, summer tires, winter day, and just wants to smoke the tires everywhere.
So in the Jaguar, you went 105, just over 105. So did you go faster or slower in this?
I probably went faster down the straightaway, but I was slower on the lap.
You were a lot slower.
Yeah.
You went, check it out here, 107.92, so almost 3 seconds slower in this car than in the Jaguar. Oh, Paul. Oh, it breaks my heart. 107.92.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. So I can tell you, once I started driving it around the track, and you try to do the things that I did with the Jag and with the M2, and you realize that
you were fighting it. You weren't driving it. You were fighting it.
Yeah, and you fight it everywhere.
All right, guys, if you're a fan of Mopar, you probably know that the Hellcat comes with two different keys. There's the black key, which gives you about 500 horsepower, and there's this key, which gives you 707 horsepower and a top speed in this car of 199 miles an hour. But did you know that there are actually 3 different drive modes and different variations on those drive modes that you can have in this car? Let me show you what I mean. First, let's start it up. And I love this part. You get the little Hellcat over here, and then it'll tell you what key's in use, which in our case happens to be the red key. I love that. So red key in use. We've got all 707 horsepower. But what if you're parking this for a nice dinner? Then you click on drive modes. And if you're going to give this vehicle to a valet, you don't want to give it to them with 707 horsepower, because I promise you they will crash it or burn the rear wheels right off this car. We've done actually that same thing in less than 1,000 miles. So then what you do is you hit valet mode. Do you want to enter valet mode? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I get the go. Click go. And now look at everything that this does. It reduces engine power to just around 200. It disables launch control. It keeps the transmission in street mode. My paddle shifters no longer work. It's set to street suspension. Traction control is forced on, and I start in 2nd gear, and it limits the engine to about 4,000 RPM. So let's take it for a ride in valet mode and see what a seriously neutered Hellcat, maybe it's more of a Hellkit now, is like when you're a valet. So you're on the road now, you're all psyched, you're about to give it the beans, and I've just floored it. The supercharger whine is there, but it accelerates like maybe a Ford Focus on steroids. That's all you get, guys. There's no tire shredding, there's no smoking the rear wheels, there's no fun.
So it's not particularly good through the corners, so there's not a huge amount of grip in the turns. And then of course you're like, that's all okay, all is forgiven because we're about to hit a straightaway and I have 707 horsepower. But it doesn't matter how gentle you are, all the thing does is want to spin the tires. So you're not able to use all that horsepower. So the lap time
it looked so great. You come in around that last turn, the back end is sliding. You laid like a 200-foot burnout. It was incredible.
Not trying to, I might add. I'm trying to meter out that power and just put every horsepower I can down to the ground and not spin it up so that I'm losing time. So even though it was sliding a lot, I had every intention of just barely sliding the car, but it just wouldn't do it.
Okay, I'm in 2nd gear. Build up a little bit of speed. Here we go. There we go. Come on, come on. Yes! All right. Check it out. Solo DL says 4.47. That's about as good as we're going to get. Yeah, it's about as good as we're going to get today. So it doesn't feel like you're impressed?
No, I mean, I'm impressed with the spectacle of it, right? It's a crazy, crazy car, and as you said before, it's a muscle car. And muscle cars aren't supposed to go around corners particularly well, and so it's the ultimate expression of a muscle car.
Yeah, and both Mustang and Camaro have become very good sports cars.
Absolutely. I mean,
they're chasing that.
They're as good as Porsches. They're as good as BMW M cars in a handling category, and this is a throwback.
right, so after spending a week, I've kind of got the number of the car, and I can tell you this, if it's in red key mode, right, there are two keys. There's a red key and then there's a black key. But I have the red key, which gives you all 707 horsepower. It's actually not a lot of fun to drive. Even on the highway, it's nervous, it's jittery, and every time you give it a little bit of gas, the back end wants to step out and wants to like find the nearest tree and ram into it. All right, now we're in full-on Hellcat mode, and the car gets a little bit more guttural. The transmission shift points change, the suspension firms up, and actually you can change all that to a custom setting right here if you want. But the other thing that happens is the supercharged 707 horsepower will quickly, at any speed, overwhelm the traction that you have in the rear end. And so it makes the car a little scary to drive, because no matter what speed, if you floor it, the back end just struggles for traction. It just wants to swap places and throw you into the nearest tree. And so I would say use full-on Hellcat mode with a big dose of reality. So it's a little dicey, but in black key mode, which is eco mode, 500 horsepower, it's a dream car. You sit back, you cruise. You've got that wonderful Hemi burbling in the back, right? You give it power, the supercharger whine comes in, the back end kicks you, and you're just like straight down the road, and you know you've got the baddest ass American car out there. And I love how fast these numbers pop. They're just so quick. So, 707, little bit dicey, 500, really relaxed, really nice. But overall, is it hot or not?
Boy, it's a hard one to say. I mean, it's a polarizing car. It depends on the criteria you're looking at. If you're someone that wants an amazingly bold statement about what American muscle is all about, it's as hot as a muscle car has ever been. If you're expecting something like the handling of a Camaro or a Mustang or a BMW M car, absolutely not.
I completely disagree, because that is the hottest car we've had so far. It really is, dude. Oh, it put such a smile on my face, seeing that.
You try and drive it around the track next time, and then we'll see if you agree with me.
And you know what? The first car we had was a Jaguar. I did not fit in it.
Right.
You were sliding around this car like you were.
That seat, it takes two of me, yes.
I fit in that car like it's like it's the most comfortable chair in the world. It is just spectacularly comfortable. And I gotta tell you, I just have a thing for American cars, and this is, like you said, the ultimate expression of it. So for me, 707 horsepower Challenger with all that pedigree, all that power, all that tire burning smoke is just super hot.
All right, so you're heading that way, I take it.
I am. I'm heading that way. All right, guys, next time we get together, we're going to put the brand new Volkswagen GT on the track.
Cool.
And find out whether it's hot or not. So thanks for watching. Remember, check out TFLcar.com for more news, views, and of course, real-world reviews. Today we've got the brand spanking new BMW M2, and we're going to find out whether it's hot or not.
A little bit of wheel spin, off the line, tiny bit of axle tramp. Oh, turns in really nice. Little bit of understeer, not too bad by the time I got to the middle of the corner. Up to third, over the hump, sliding along nicely here. Lots of grip. Wow, I like that.